Well, good afternoon. If we can have everybody come back, we'll go ahead and get started with our next guest. One of the things that we continue to learn about in terms of foreign trade and has been obvious to the U.S. for generations is that Canada is in fact our largest positive trading partner. And so with us today, we're really pleased to have Canada's Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food, Jean-Claude Poissant. Jean is a fourth-generation dairy and grain farmer from Quebec. Over the years, he has made a point of educating people of all ages about the importance of agriculture, and we are happy to have him here today. Canada's Consul General, Khawar, Nasim, is also here to help with the interpretation. So please join me in welcoming them to the Ag Summit.
Thank you, Bruce. Je suis vraiment heureux d'être ici aujourd'hui parmi vous. C'est un honneur pour moi. On behalf of the Government of Canada and Agriculture Minister Lawrence McCauley, it's a pleasure to be here. I want to recognize the importance of this event for the American and Canadian trade relationship. The Government of Canada is committed to working with you to grow the Canada-US relationship for the good of our businesses, our jobs, our citizens, and our economies. The main point I want to make is that the Canada-US relationship is strong, stable, and beneficial to both our great nations. Over $47 billion in agricultural and food products crossed our borders last year. Trade drives our economy and contributes to millions of middle-class jobs on both sides of the border. Thank you again for a warm welcome.
Thank you, Parliamentary Secretary Poissant. We're really delighted to have you here with us today. I'm Khawar Nasim. I'm the Canada's Consul General in Minnesota, covering Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and of course our hopes in the great state of Iowa. I want to begin today by recognizing and thanking Bruce Rastetter and thanking the leadership of Governor Kim Reynolds for championing this important summit, including to our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau during their recent meeting at the National Governors Association in Rhode Island. It is a result of that meeting and that championing by Governor Reynolds that we were able to secure the participation of Parliamentary Secretary Poissant and also the excellent contributions by our Assistant Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Fred Gorell, at this morning's panel. But make no mistake about it, our participation is not merely happenstance or a lucky bounce. This is part of a concerted effort by the Government of Canada to engage with our American colleagues, to ensure that we're talking about, promoting, and encouraging the greatest relationship in the world, that between Canada and the United States. That relationship in all its various forms, tourism, trade, family, sports, is wonderfully represented here in Iowa. I didn't mention agriculture because we know Iowa understands agriculture, and you certainly understand how important trade is for agriculture. As we enter NAFTA negotiations, let's remember that the NAFTA zone is the biggest economic region in the world, comprising $21 trillion and 480 million consumers. Thanks to NAFTA, we not only sell things to each other, we make things together. About half of the U.S. trade with Canada and Mexico takes place between related companies. Now, when I talk about trade, I like to give some concrete examples. So let's talk about oats and burgers. In the case of the first, I've met with farmers in Saskatchewan who import John Deere tractors made here in Iowa to harvest their crop. The oats are then sent back down to Iowa, where they are processed at the Quaker Oats facility in Cedar Rapids, packaged and sold to the world. #1 selling cereal in Canada is made right here in Iowa. Then we talk about your typical hamburger, a product I know a thing or two about. When we look at the hamburger, we've got beef from cattle born in Alberta, raised in Nebraska, processed in Colorado. On top, we've got a bun baked in Michigan with flour from Saskatchewan, lettuce from Arizona, tomatoes from Ontario, and the bacon. Of course, the bacon is from pigs born and raised in Manitoba and processed here in Iowa. Canada is the United States' biggest customer. In 2016, Canada bought more from the United States than did China, Japan, Mexico, and the United Kingdom. We are the top customer for 48 states and the largest customer for Iowa's exports. For agriculture alone, Canada is the largest customer of the United States and the third largest customer of Iowa. Our trade is fair, it's free, and it's balanced. In fact, the United States has a surplus with Canada. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to meet Senator Chuck Grassley in Washington, and we were talking about agriculture, and we talked about NAFTA, and he said to me, you know, NAFTA is really just a vehicle for agriculture, and it is the motor which drives NAFTA. So agriculture is a critical element in this accord, and we like to use the expression, let's keep a good thing growing, eh? I want to conclude by picking up on Secretary Perdue's comments. I found his speech really inspiring, but one of the things that he mentioned on a number of occasions was the need to be vocal, was the need for Iowa farmers in particular to tell a good story to their congressmen and women, to their senators, to the people in Washington, because too often we don't let this story be told loudly enough. And we're encouraging all of you to please make your voices heard as we enter into this crucial stage in the renegotiations of NAFTA. Canada stands ready to renegotiate NAFTA. We've got our experts working on it. We think it needs updating and modernizing, but we're ambitious and we want to see a better accord for all three countries. So let me end by congratulating the organizers for this outstanding event and to wish you a good day, and we look forward to being back here again next year. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.